So Perplexity launched their comment browser in July with similar ideas. But the key difference with Comet was that it forgets everything when you close it. Atlas remembers forever because you log in with your ChatGPT email address. So that memory creates serious lock-in. So 6 months from now, Atlas will know everything. So whatever you visited, everything you've done, and you are really going to switch and lose all that context. I don't know. It will be hard. It's hard for me to imagine that yet. The distribution advantage, thanks for pulling that up, Chris. OpenAI has 800 million ChatGPT users and one push notification, and they have instant scale. Comment can't touch that. But Comment has edge. It's built on Chromium, so your Chrome extension work day one. Atlas, starting from scratch. So no password manager extensions yet. So you have to like import stuff in there. So that's kind of the hurdle that you have to overcome. And then of course there's security questions. That was my biggest concern. And then I told Chris that, like yesterday, I was like, I am so concerned about Atlas security, but I'm like, why am I not concerned about my Chrome security? Google gets to see everything I do. I did have to go to Atlas and uncheck the setting because conveniently it's checked for it to be kind of watching everything you do on their end. So I unchecked that. So at least I think I'm sort of kind of not, protected a little bit. Who knows? But overall, the security question is that Comet got hammered in August audits, prompt injection vulnerabilities that let attackers trick the AI. Atlas obviously hasn't been tested yet. The risk is there, probably the same as with any AI browser. So if you're giving an agent access to your entire web session, just kind of be mindful and just don't be like all in on this. So those are just the comment. So my first reaction was, it could be useful, right? I mean, go back and see what I've done a week or two ago without trying to go through all my history. That's powerful. I said I hesitated because it's kind of new and scary, right? And how many people would probably not do that and not switch. And then I kind of try to imagine, like what will happen to Chrome? So Chrome right now has what, 65%, I think, of the browser market. So, and they make billions from search ads. If they integrate Gemini into Chrome the way Atlas integrates ChatGPT, they kind of will kill their own business. So if AI answers questions directly, like why would anyone click ads, right? So Google now has this dilemma.
Are people clicking ads right now? I do searches. I just use the Gemini results, or that's it.
I mean, how do they make money on ads, right? So like, what are you gonna do about that? Like, they clearly, their model is they have ads, and so it's interesting when Atlas released this on Tuesday, whenever it was, Google's stock or the company valuation or whatever, I think it went down by like 100 billion, which for them is drop in the bucket. But clearly, the market noticed that Google has now a competitor. And so what is Google going to do? Right. So that's kind of like, I started thinking about that. I am not abandoning Chrome. I still have Chrome for like, I don't know, like other things, but I am playing with Atlas and we'll see, maybe Atlas will pull me in completely, but Google now is a notice. So, my bet that Google will add AI to Chrome and then just neuter just enough to protect ads. So which means they'll lose to Atlas long term because they can't go all in because they have to protect the advertising business. Then there's an Apple. Apple has an advantage. They have no ad business to protect. They could make Safari full AI native tomorrow, but they're Apple, so they'll wait for 18 months, learn from everyone's mistakes, and then launch something that just works with half the features. And then there's dark horses like Brave. They've got 75 million users. I've never heard of Brave. Have you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, they already first privacy with AI. That could be alternative. There's Arc, which I've never heard of them. And then there's Firefox. They only have 3% share. That's shrinking. It's losing ground. So the smaller browsers, no legacy issues, no ad business, they can move fast while Chrome and Safari figure out their strategy. So what do you think? What does this all mean for developers? Kind of what are your thoughts as the brain of this operation?
Well, we kind of talked about like, how pages need to be structured so the AIs can interact with them, read them, use them more effectively. That's not really it though. The thing with this is we need to think about how we use browsers. Okay. The way it has been, maybe you do this. I'm not crazy enough to do this. I'll have 50 tabs open. I'm getting what I need here, and I'm kind of integrating, what I'm picking up or whatever into my work, and I'm bouncing back and forth. I'll pull up another tab. I'll do another search. I'll maybe get some direction on this, and I go continue my tasks. What AI enhanced browsing can do is like Ken mentioned, it's a perfect setup for creators who want to think with the content, not just watch it. Limo says it's not just Limo probably. It's an AI powered assistant built on Chromium. All your web apps still work, but you got GPT baked right in for research, debugging, and automation. What it can do is like summarize your experience, almost like somebody sitting there taking notes. So you've got your browsing session open. You've gone to these different places. It's sort of summarizing what you're doing, and it's kind of helping you. It offers the potential to help you think about what you're doing in an augmented way, instead of just bouncing around and having a bunch of stuff that's maybe connected to you, sort of based on the task that you're trying to complete. This can actually like put together a document that actually does tie it together for you. It offers the ability for enhanced understanding and for clearer takeaways just from the information we're interacting with. That doesn't even go into the whole idea of the browser being able to take actions too. You might have some picture based on what you've already got, and you say, okay, well now based on this, I want to do this, and it can use that to help guide you in the right direction. So it sort of offers like navigation wayfinding capabilities in the information discovery landscape, which is also pretty cool. So I think we need to step back from this. Instead of like judging the browsers, we got to think this is a new modality. This is a new way of operating that is sort of like having a note taker there, and somebody like sitting there bouncing ideas off of you. And so you can somehow, develop a better product, so to speak, take things to new places with, synthesized, augmented information.
Yeah. Well, and then one thing I forgot to say is that Comet actually, when it launched, it was like super hard to get. It was like $200 a month. It was expensive. And so I think once they got the whiff of this coming out, they dropped it's now $0, so you can get it for free. But again, if you look at this little, little snapshot over here, you can see like what they don't have, and neither does Chrome, is the memory, which is going to be very valuable, right? For going forward for users. Or maybe it will be creepy. I don't know, right? But again, like this is why if so many people are playing with this, maybe there will be somebody who will love it. I mean, I see benefits. It's just me thinking like, how can I use this worker now? How can I use it for my benefit versus just try to patch it together, copy and paste, analyze, run reports, and all that stuff. So the jury is still out, but I am not deleting it. Like I'm gonna keep playing with it because I still see there's potential.
Well, I said this on X earlier today, and it's something I want everybody to think about. I feel like kind of the general thinking about AI has been like getting it to regurgitate facts, getting us to tell us things we don't know or have questions about, that kind of thing, like this sort of like student-teacher relationship. But that's not it. That is not it. Our relationship with AI, you need to think about it in terms of what AI can do. You need to think about it doing stuff. And even with enhancement in the browser, when you're assimilating information, when you're trying to figure something out, when you're trying to put something new together, you are attempting to do, AI can do along with you. Not necessarily do the task, but to do the things that you need to get you to the next level so you can do the task. So AI is about doing. It is not about facts. It's not about information. That's not it. It is about doing.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, well, what's your kind of overall takeaway from this before we kind of move on? Because this is a kind of a fascinating, I did not see this coming, but I guess people saw this coming and it was just like another browser, great. But I actually considered playing with it because of the memory part. But what are you?
All the places where humans do a lot of interaction. We do a lot of interaction in the browser. We do a lot in spreadsheets and documents, things like that. And all those places, these are places where AI enhancement is absolutely an opportunity. Browsers are pretty stale. There hasn't been a lot of innovation in browsing, I mean, in 20 years to me. So I think this is a long time coming. This makes sense. Again, this is a high touch point. Browsers are a big touch point for people. Anything that's like that, you can expect some disruption. And I think for like Ken in here, like I feel pretty confident Ken's going to figure out ways to enhance what he's doing with tools like this. And anyone who's kind of operating in a similar way is going to find some gains. I promise.
Yeah, no, 100%. So, and my takeaway from here is basically, Chrome will have to scramble, I guess, because again, they've got that ad business to protect. So I'm not sure what they're gonna do with AI and if they're gonna go full blown AI, because then how are they gonna expand that to the advertisers? But then I also think Atlas is making their ad game, right? Because we talked about that a couple of weeks ago, is monetization for them. They got to make money. And so I think Atlas is going to be that another play for them to serve the ads, or maybe the sites that are more optimized, I don't know, will get some kind of more visibility, or maybe they'll be bidding somehow, some way. But I have a feeling that the monetization on ads is coming to Atlas as well. Comet, I don't know what they're gonna do, but I know they have other things they've got in works. But I'm sure this is not a super helpful play for them either. So we'll watch out these wars and how they play out.
And should the URL bar, the URL bar used to be just for internet addresses, URLs. Then it was a search bar. It's going to be a prompt bar.
Now it's a prompt bar. That's what it is.
If it's a prompt bar,
I can ask any question now in my Atlas browser. It looks just like the prompt.
Yeah.
And I can ask questions. What did I do yesterday? Show me this and that. It's really.
So now it's a prompt. This would be a good segue into our next segment.
Yeah.
But it's a prompt bar. And if it's a prompt bar, what is really stopping someone like ChatGPT from just having the browser be a self-contained experience inside ChatGPT?
Yeah.
You've got the prompt. That's the same thing as the browser mechanism. Why are we having two pieces of software for this? Maybe it should all be in one place.
That's why we have the show, so you guys can think about this stuff, because I certainly do. Our car trips are very fascinating these days. I mean, they always were, but now they're even more fun.